Hey, I'm Nate Flax.
I'm Noah Longworth McGuire.
And this is Talking Lion.
Talking Lion is a podcast focused on artist-to-artist conversation.
We're primarily artists, a duo called Sleeping Lion, but we've been lucky enough to write, produce, and hang out with so many incredible rising artists since we started our project.
Whether it's at sessions or parties over cups of coffee, we've talked with our creative friends about everything. Music, life, love, and all the subtle complexities that come with being in the middle of a journey.
Talking Lion is about hitting record on these conversations and sharing them with you. There's no real structure, nothing really prepared, just friends talking about life and what it's been like and where it's going.
We recorded our first episode with our friend Zealyn. We first interacted with Zealyn nearly 3 years ago over Twitter DM when she asked us about opening for her at Cafe 939 in Boston.
We were sitting in a Boston market in Scarsdale, New York, surprised any touring artist even knew who we were, let alone wanted us to perform with them.
Sleeping Lion had only recently started, so it was the first big show we really played. After, we became fast friends, and they were the first friends we made who lived in Los Angeles.
Some context for this interview. 2 weeks before we recorded this, Zealand played an incredible show at School Night in Hollywood. And in 2 weeks, she'll be announcing her upcoming EP that's due out in May.
We've opened for Zealand twice. Once that first time at Cafe 939 in Boston, and once at the Satellite in LA. We've remixed her song Talk Listen and co-wrote and co-produced the title track on our upcoming EP called A Weekend in Maine.
She's an amazing performer, and she'll be touring very soon, so keep an eye out for any shows in your town. So,
without further ado,
this is Zealand, and you're listening to Talking Lion.
hello, I'm Nate.
I'm Noah.
And we are here with Zealand on the first episode of Talking Lion.
Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
We are eating guacamole with blue corn chips and drinking kombucha as is the vibe of the day.
Very amazing guacamole handmade by Noah. It was delicious.
Thank you.
So if you hear the crunches and the slurps, that's what you're hearing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time ever. Thank you for coming on today.
It just makes sense that you guys are doing a podcast. Like, obviously, I want to be a part of it. It's great.
We talk enough as it all goes, so it's like, but I think that the thing we're really excited about having you on is that we all go back pretty far as like in music years, 3 years, 4 years is a lifetime,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's been really cool to be out here and to like see you at shows and hang and write and do the whole thing, and I think you also have like the coolest story and the coolest vibe like for your for the stuff that you make. So the whole idea of this thing is that it's not even like necessarily structured, but I know you're an East Coaster, like we sort of are. I'm a New Yorker. He's more complicated.
But I was in Boston.
Kind of all over.
Yeah.
We were all in Boston. You were in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
So you grew up.
I grew up north of Boston. That's why, I mean, you know how like people are always like, oh, I'm from LA, but they're really in Orange County or something like that. But I always just say I'm from Boston, but really from the North Shore, just because no one knows what Beverly, Massachusetts is.
Right.
Yeah. So I never lived in the city, but I lived in the North Shore of Boston, in Beverly and then in Salem. And yeah.
So you had like the heart, like the coastal, like the beautiful water stuff in Salem and all that.
Yeah, plus for 8 years I also lived in Cape Cod, which was like right on the beaches.
Nice.
And like
that'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
And now because we've talked about before, but there was also like woods and everything by where you were living too. It was very like natural, right? Like
yeah, I mean everywhere I moved 13 different times by the time I was 18. So I lived in a lot of different places.
Oh my God.
I feel
so
that.
I never was like, yeah.
What caused the move? Like, was it your parents?
My parents just rented and I don't know, just moved around a lot, work, just, yeah.
What did they do? What were the jobs?
My mom was like, would host like these big women's events. It was actually awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. She did these big women's events. And then my dad is a pastor. He has been since I was born. And so, yeah, I just kind of grew up hopping around and just never, the longest I ever stayed in a place was 4 years or 5 years or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you have that in
Yeah, I
common.
was the same way growing up. We moved. I only lived in 2 countries growing up, but I
only lived in 2 countries growing up.
Well, I had friends.
I have to live with it, It's
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because for me, I had friends who lived in like 12 countries by the time they were 15. So I was the weird one. Like I was the weird one who only lived in like 2 places.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
in my adolescence, but I moved houses like every 2 years in Zimbabwe and in Rome. I moved a couple times. So I was like always in a different house
Yeah.
for my entire childhood. So I feel that.
Totally. Like when people talk about moving and how it's such a hassle, it's kind of like
You kind of get used to it.
you
I mean, it's
do.
always stressful, but you
Yeah,
do
it's
get
always-
used to some parts of it.
I guess the thing that immediately comes to mind for that is like was, and not to make like a really heavy question, but like it was like friendship a complicated thing because you would have to move so much. Like,
yeah, I mean, I never had neighborhood friend. I never had that experience of like knowing your neighbors and all the neighborhood kids getting together. And you know, I like read about it or like see it in movies
so
or whatever.
I spent 18 years in the same place, so I had my 2 friends from when I was like 5 years old, and we still like that's and I realized later, especially me and him, that was not a normal experience.
Yeah. I envy that. I wish I had like the neighborhood, like, oh, the cul-de-sac, everyone gets together and hangs out. Like it just seems so fun.
Did that make you close with your family?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I did have friends that just like weren't neighbors, but yeah, I had like a good solid group of friends growing up and whatnot. But
And you said your dad's a pastor. Was that where you first started like singing and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Totally grew up like singing in church, just like belting like
Yeah.
worship songs. And, yeah, that was for sure. And my mom sang. She pretty much learned everything from her singing. And then my dad played piano, so that's where I learned how to play keys.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of musicians come out of like that gospel especially.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many incredible drummers who started drumming for gospel churches and stuff.
So how old were you when you started doing that?
Singing like in general or like singing at churches?
Singing in front of people.
Singing
Yeah.
in front of people. I want to say, oh gosh, 8, something like
Wow.
8 years old or 9.
Was your dad a good singer too, or mom, or both?
Yeah. My dad was a good singer, but my mom was a great singer.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a great singer. She wanted to do it. Like when she was 18, she wanted to pursue music, but it just didn't happen for her. But anyways, yeah, she's really good. And so I started singing publicly, around 8. And by the time I was 11, I did my first EP.
Wow.
It was called 11 Going on 12.
Whoa.
Very awesome.
great.
Yeah.
What?
It's very amazing. 2 covers and 1 original.
What were the 2 covers?
The 2 covers were Jesus Take the Wheel.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Carrie Underwood. Loved Carrie Underwood. And the other one I truly can't even remember. Yeah, I forget what the other one was.
And what
I'll
was
have to look it up.
what was the name? Do you remember the name of the single?
Of like my original song? It was called Wonderful to Me.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
it
good.
was
That's good.
Yeah.
It was horrible, but it was awesome.
Do you remember it? Would you be able to
Oh
conjure
my
that? I mean,
gosh.
I don't remember. I remember the first real song I wrote was called "Left Alone," but the first like lyrics I wrote was set to Fall Out Boy's "Sugar We're Going Down," like syllable by syllable. It was called "To Be Continued," just ended. That was the. I could not sing any of this too. I don't
You
remember.
were much more of an intellectual
No,
kid
it was
than I was.
stupid,
I think.
and it was wonderful to me. Sounds like a pop song
Yeah.
around the time. I mean, it seemed like you were really locked in.
No, it was not a very locked in. I'll have to like find it. I have it somewhere on my laptop, like the old recordings.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
For people who are listening, if we do wind up finding it, we'll post it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, I may not have the songs right now, and maybe I don't know how people can see this, but I'll show you the picture.
Oh,
my.
yeah.
The album artwork.
Well, you can give us like sort of like an oral history. Like you can tell us like describe it.
Okay.
Like verbally. Yeah.
You guys are about to see it, but it's really, really bad glasses. It was before braces and my teeth were like
Ooh.
insane. I have huge bell bottom pants on and just like, I feel like I'm so cool in this picture, but I look like a dork.
Oh my god! Wait, that's the album cover.
That was
No.
the yeah.
That was
That was the album cover.
That was the cover.
The
Yeah,
cover.
Okay, so yeah,
Whoa.
for
It might have been a close up one like that.
Oh
Oh,
my god!
man.
But yeah, I
The
literally
glasses
just
and
put the
everything.
text 11 going on 12 over this picture.
Oh my god, that's
Like, just
awesome.
over the picture?
Just over, yeah.
No, again, like I think my first EP was called Broken Horizon, and we took like a sunset and we just put a moon photoshopped
Aw.
over it, not well, and that was it. That was the whole.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looked bad and it looked clip arty enough that like I feel bad because I didn't even do it. It was like my friend's dad, like in his busy life, put in work to do this.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like I'm
Well,
being
and
mean.
it's so
but-
cute how when we were kids, how like it was so exciting the first time you would do something that they'd be like, oh, we'll help you. Like my mom, like she designed the whole CD.
Oh my
case
god, yeah.
or
Everybody
what
gets so
it's
excited
called.
about
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so pure when you start
Terrible.
making music.
and it feels so
Yeah.
big too. It feels
Yeah.
like very exciting that
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
gonna be the thing. You know?
Yeah,
You're like, oh, I'm
for
gonna be
sure.
famous for 11 going on 12. But that's awesome. So I'm sure that came out to critical success.
Oh yeah, huge.
The first
It blew
was
up.
it?
Yeah,
Did you go by
yeah.
Angie Miller for that release, or did you have?
It was my full name, Angela Miller.
Angela
Ooh.
Miller.
So yeah.
That'll
Did you
do
put it up on MySpace or SoundCloud?
Oh,
or...
this was before all. I think
Right, just-
MySpace was probably when I was, I don't know, 13. So this is like a few years
right
before that.
So did you like make a CD?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Nice.
my mom like made a CD. I didn't do anything with it. She just gave it to like grandparents and whatever, and it
I'm
was
sure
more.
they still have it. I'm sure that's
Yeah, I
like.
bet.
Oh, she definitely still has it
Yeah.
somewhere in the attic or whatever. But yeah, it was just a fun thing to do as a kid. But honestly, I didn't really pursue music until I was 18.
Okay. Well, what did you want to be growing up? Like, what was the thing that It's interesting that I didn't realize your mom also had like pursued music like in her.
Yeah.
But my dad very similarly like tried to do it when he was like 18 through his 20s or whatever. But do you know what like sort of changed your mind? Did you learn from that? Was that like were there things that she would warn you about when you started doing this stuff?
No, I mean, because she really didn't. She didn't experience any of the music industry. She made her own CD when she was 18, but after that, just like didn't end up happening. I don't know. She just kind of stopped pursuing it. And so she didn't really have any advice to give me on the music industry at all, because she didn't experience it. But I just kind of went into it blindly at first, and I learned a lot real quick. And so if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would be where I am today. Yeah.
Well, I feel like so much of the industry has also changed since our parents
Oh,
were.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my gosh.
and my dad would have to get like $15,000 worth of equipment like in order to record like a bad cassette demo. Now we can
Yeah.
make it on laptops and stuff. I think my dad like yelled at an agent once, and that was like like in LA, like not even at a meeting, like he was like it was a restaurant. And he like saw an agent, and he like went to the whatever. He basically, my dad was like, if I have any advice, which is not a lot, it's just keep your cool. You know?
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice, because a lot of
Honestly,
people
yeah.
lose their cool.
Hey, it survives. So what did you want to be like? What was the thing that like your hobbies when you were growing up?
I mean, singing was always it's always what I wanted to do. I never understood like if I talked to my 17-year-old self, I had no idea what the music industry was. I just was absolutely clueless. I just knew that I liked to sing. So I think I always knew that I wanted to sing, but I just didn't know what it looked like. The only thing I knew in high school was seeing all these people get big on YouTube. So I wanted to do that. Like I
Right.
did YouTube covers throughout high school, and
Those were like the early days of
Oh,
YouTube.
yeah.
I mean, there was like not a lot of people on it, but if you had a song that had like 10,000,
yeah.
that was a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I loved it. And I don't know if you know Madeline Bailey. She was like one of the first huge YouTube cover artists that blew up, and she was like my idol. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be just like her.
Did you go to things like VidCon or like interact
No.
with the YouTube
No.
stuff?
No, I didn't do anything. I just watched it on YouTube and was like, oh, that's cool. I want to do it. And so I just put up a few covers, and it was fun.
Did they ever receive like that level of attention or?
No, they didn't. I mean, maybe a few thousand. Like, just like, I don't think.
Which at the time is cool. I mean, that's
Yeah. Oh, I
and
mean,
for a
being-
kid too. I mean that.
For sure, a 16, 17-year-old in high school, like having my peers watch it and be like,
Yeah.
oh, your voice is so good. I loved it. I thought it was so fun.
What was like one cover that like you remember that we were really like proud of?
I remember doing, Skyscraper by
Ooh.
Demi
Oh,
Lovato.
Wow, that is a classic.
And hitting because I hit the really high note, and I was so proud of that high note. I couldn't wait to release that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, did people in your school know about these covers? Like, did they?
A small circle. I was not like I didn't like love high school. I was not hugely popular at all. Most of my friends were outside of high school, like my really close friends. So high school for me wasn't like knowing everybody and yay, like super fun. It was more just like, all right, I'll get school over with and then go hang out with my friends.
I used to DD for parties I wasn't invited to.
Oh.
Like I would show up and pick up like some people who were drunk in the backseat and like, oh, so did you have a fun time? Like, what was it like? Like,
that's so precious. I can picture you doing that.
it was like I didn't necessarily like. I just wanted to know what was happening. I wanted the dirt. But you said you had friends outside. Like, where did you meet them? Like at church or?
Yeah. Just friends that I grew up with.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Like
Cool.
Parents, mutual friends, having kids at the same time, just all growing up together. You know what I mean?
What was the first concert you ever went to?
It was the first band I was ever obsessed with, and it's so embarrassing, but also cute. Jump 5, you probably have never heard of it.
I have no idea.
It was a 5-person band, or not even a band. They just sang to like karaoke tracks.
Jump 5.
But they all like danced and had these like
Wow.
music videos with their dancing, and and one of the kids I thought was so cute, and he was like my first crush. And
Well, surprise! We have Jump 5 here in the studio
oh,
now.
yay!
Come out, Jump 5.
I like wonder what they look like now.
Where are they now?
I don't know.
Jump 5, if you're listening to this, come on.
You were my first.
At least one of them's probably a pop writer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like all
Probably.
those old boy band people, at least
For sure.
one of them ended up being
One of
a
them's
pop
definitely an
writer.
author.
Although it was 2 guys and 3 girls.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't an all boy band.
Okay.
Some girls.
One
in
of them
there.
definitely has a Netflix show now.
I believe it.
has to be,
Honestly,
yeah.
after this, I'm gonna look up what they're doing now because one of them is probably doing something.
Well,
but-
we've been watching The Umbrella Academy. You know, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, like, was a
Wrote the
creator
comic.
of The Umbrella Academy.
Really?
Gerard Way, yeah.
So cool. I hope that I do something awesome outside of music one day.
I think we all.
That's,
Right,
that's
yeah.
the goal.
This is the first. The podcast is the first step. To,
Yeah.
To total media domination.
Total
I think.
media domination.
It's a good first step.
Yeah. You know, this and then Netflix and then we should make couches
Yeah, we'll make couches.
and chairs.
Chairs.
Yeah.
So you'll have
Sitting
your
lion.
own furniture line.
Yeah, we'll call it Sitting Lion.
Oh, you guys can do a lot
we
with
can do
this.
anything.
We could brew beers, Drinking Lion.
Drinking
You know,
Lion.
just,
Drinking lion.
yeah. No, but no. So did you go to college after?
Nope.
Because I know my parents were more, and yours too, were more traditional about the college stuff. But I feel like we were the sort of generation that started getting kind of tired of that path.
Totally. Yeah.
What sort of inspired the decision to not do that and yeah, where'd that go?
So my mom and I were obsessed with American Idol. Like we watched every season religiously, voted for our favorites. Like we loved it. And so my last like semester of high school, I like visited a college and I was like thinking about college and I was like, well, I either do college or like maybe I can try out for the show. Like I've always secretly wanted to. Like that'd be cool. That'd be fun. And so right before I graduated high school, I auditioned and I just decided to go with that instead of college.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old were you when that?
I was 18. I was 18.
And so you went from Angela Miller to Angie Miller, and then the whole sort of thing there.
Yeah.
What was that like suddenly? Because it's one of those things, especially because it's TV, that happens very quickly. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of stuff in music. I mean, you see Billie Eilish and Halsey and stuff, but by and large, like the music thing is a very sort of slow thing. And this is
Yeah.
all of a sudden millions of people on television. You sang with Jessie J, right?
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah. So what was that like suddenly happening?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a lot at once. There's a lot of things that I forget about. Like I'll look at pictures or an interview that I did with so and so and I'm like, what? I don't remember that. Like when did that happen? Like I
just a
forget
blur.
so much. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was me. Like it feels like another lifetime ago. It's really strange.
Did you feel like you had to sort of set up like a boundary between like you and like the person who was on TV and doing that?
Well, here's the thing. As an 18-year-old being on national TV doing it all, I loved it. Just was on cloud 9 the entire time and totally kind of just like got cocky and thought I was so awesome. Like I totally loved it. And like in the moment it was just like amazing, dream come true. But yeah, after the fact, like when the show ended and everyone stops caring, you're like, "Oh, wait. who am I? Like, wait, what happened? I don't understand. Like, yeah, it gets really weird when the show ends and you're just like left there. And
Do you remember very clear, like now what moment?
yes, yeah, because it was. I mean, the whole entire process was a year and a half, almost 2 years. That's like the show, the audition process, the show, and then the tour afterwards.
Right. Where did you play on the tour? Like, was there a notable part of touring? Was that the first time you'd ever toured?
Yeah, and this was like crazy tour, like costume changes, or in it. They were in which one's the smaller one? Stadiums or arenas? Whatever the smaller one is. I think arenas. I think those are smaller.
I didn't even realize. I thought they were interchangeable.
I don't know. Whatever.
But they were bigger than.
They were big.
Like.
Yeah.
You know, House of Blues or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were huge.
Big shows,
I mean, yeah, it was crazy, and like I said, costume changes, dance numbers, like there was a whole crazy thing. And
but was it all covers? Like, were you or did you do original stuff?
Yeah,
with
the
that?
top 3 did original songs. So I did 2 original songs.
Who won that year? Do you?
Candace Glover.
Gotcha.
And then second place was Cree Harrison, and she's still there. I think they're both still doing music. Yeah. But yeah, so I was able to do original songs, which is good. But once I got home from the tour and just like lived in my parents' house again, and just back with my friends, just back to, it's just weird. Like,
Because like all of a sudden, like
Oh my gosh.
zero, like
yeah, after 2 years of go, and then just getting home and being like, oh wait, what?
it was like whiplash.
And
like,
they
did
don't
you-
teach you anything. Like, I didn't learn anything about like what steps to take exactly on the industry, where to go next, what to do. Like,
It's
they
all
don't
just a
help
show,
you.
yeah.
And so I just get home and I'm like, I have no idea what to do. Yeah, it was really strange.
Was like where was social media at that point? Like, was Instagram and everything and Twitter, like, did you have to maintain all of that stuff?
Yeah,
as it was happening too?
Instagram was like probably a year into like its blowing up, you know, and that's when Vine was huge. And yeah, so it was just all that stuff, trying to stay on top of it. And in January of 2014, I moved to LA. So just like I was home for 3 months and was like, I need to get out of here. And I moved to LA.
So I mean, what is interesting about that too is that like you started essentially as like a kid and then you ended like
Yeah.
as an adult, like that. Like
Yeah.
the transition was during that point. So everybody has more or less the same reason for moving to LA because of music and stuff. But was there something that like specifically that pulled you here? Were the people that you already knew out here that?
I knew no one in LA except for my manager that, you know, because the top 3, you don't have a choice. Like, management can just pick you up if they want to.
Oh.
So they picked me up. So the only thing that I knew that I had here in LA was management. And I was like, oh, okay. So my best friend and I moved to LA. Didn't know a single person, didn't know what we were doing. We just moved. And
Was your friend also doing music?
no, she wasn't. But we were so close. And so she was just like, yeah, I'll come to LA. I was like, really? Okay. Yeah, so we moved, and probably for a good year, I didn't do anything for probably like 8 months. I didn't know a single person. I didn't really know what I was doing. My management was doing absolutely nothing.
And they were pushing Angie Miller at that point, right?
Yeah, but they weren't even. Like, they weren't
Right.
doing anything. Yeah, but I was still going under Angie Miller. And if I learned anything from the American Idol process, I learned everything I don't want to do as a businesswoman. I learned how to be a lazy business person. I learned how to not care about your artists, or not, how, you know, like, because that's how I was treated. I just felt like, I don't know, secondhand. Like, I don't know, just...
I mean,
sucked.
it sounds like learning the hard way. It's like really
Yeah, totally.
like the trial by fire of it.
Yeah.
you know?
And so a year after management doing nothing for me, I called them. Well, first of all, they
Well,
were...
in that year, were you playing any shows around? Were you?
Nope. Well, I did like an American Idol tour, but it was just me. They just brought me over. It was like a Southeast Asia tour, and that was fun. You know, of course, it was awesome getting to see Asia and different parts of that. But that's it. In the whole year, that's pretty much all they did, and they put me in meetings with these huge high up label, like the head guy at Lava Records, and they're like, so who are you as an artist? And I'm like, the 19-year-old, I'm like, I like pop music. I didn't know.
Nobody said there was going to be a test. like nobody.
I hated it. Just like these, it was horrible. It was so uncomfortable.
And were you doing any writing at the time? Were you working on music, or were you just kind of...
No, not really. Like, wrote, but maybe like 5 songs in the whole 8 months. Like
Right.
it just, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I didn't realize, I don't know. I don't think I had that much drive either. After the show, I think I just thought everything was going to be perfect and done for me. And I had to learn.
Because you did it. You
Yeah.
were famous.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
that was,
So I had to learn the hard way, like, oh wait, I actually need to like put in work and time. Oh, oops. Like,
Right.
yeah.
what was there a moment where it clicked for you? Like, was there a moment that, or was it more of sort of a gradual realization that like something
It was
else-
gradual. I think it was gradual. Yeah. But it was also like harsh. Like I remember it slapping me in the face, being like, oh wow, like I cannot rely on American Idol. I need to put in work and figure out like who I am. And so I called up management and I was like, hey, I don't want to wait for a label. I want to do a crowdfunded campaign and release an EP. And they called me 2 days later and they were like, so we're going to let you go. We see that you're passionate about that and we're not. So we're going to let you go. And I was like, awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much. And I left and I released an EP under Angie Miller. And after that, I just still didn't feel like it was myself. Like Angie Miller was so tied to American Idol. I felt so like held hostage almost by that whole process.
Did it feel like that at that point? Did it feel like that outside person? Like, was it like what was the EP called, and like what was the sort of, what were you writing about for that EP? Like, what was the kind of feeling behind it?
Honestly, it was so long ago, and it was kind of I don't remember my mindset during.
You showed
it.
us a music video a while ago. Was that for that?
Oh, that
project?
was Simple. Yeah,
Simple,
yeah.
yeah.
That song was called Simple. Yeah. Well, the EP was called Weathered, and I don't know. I think that the whole EP was kind of like self-discovery EP. It was kind of like I don't know.
A roundabout way of discovering that wasn't necessarily.
Yeah,
what you-
yeah. Like I liked the songs, like recording them, like it was fun. But then when I played a show and played the music live, I found that I was almost like embarrassed of the songs, if that makes sense. Like there was one song that was so cookie cutter cliche pop, and I was like, ugh, I don't like singing this. Like I just
Imagine you like on stage, like singing it, like making a face. Like,
yeah.
Where were
mean,
you playing at
yeah.
the time? Like, was it around LA?
Yeah, it was Hotel Cafe.
Was that your
I
first
think-
show at Hotel Cafe?
Yep. Yeah, the first show with that EP was at Hotel Cafe. I think I played like a few shows at Hotel Cafe, and then I went and played a show in my hometown. But that was it. I didn't do much. Really shortly after I released that EP under Angie Miller, I realized I don't want to do this anymore. I need to totally rebrand and change, and yeah.
So, and I almost made it like a promise on the show that I would never like ask this question, but I have a feeling I'm gonna just wind up asking it forever. How did the name Zealand appear? Like, what inspired the name? Was made.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I'm sure lots of people, because it's a weird name. But yeah, I mean, replacing your birth name is super weird because obviously that's the most natural thing to say. So it took a long time to come up with Zealand. I looked everywhere. Like, yeah, anything you can think of, I was looking at for inspiration. Like magazines, street names, like Googling, like flower names, like anything. Like I was looking at everything, and then was starting to look at countries. And there was like a few, like Leeds was one, which I hate now, but in the time it was like, oh, maybe Leeds, I don't know. And New Zealand, obviously, that's
That's what my phone at one point would be autocorrecting to.
Yeah. Oh,
learned
yeah.
eventually, but
Yeah. And so, but Zealand was still like a country name, it's like kind of like, oh, well, it's a country. I don't know. Like, and that's when DJ was just like, well, why don't you do Lyn, make it more a girl's name, Zealyn, like Zealand. And I was like, oh. And that was the first name that I could picture myself like in front of an audience being like, hey guys, I'm Zealand. And it felt comfortable. Like the first time I said it out loud, I was like, that's it.
And do you remember the first show you played as Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. It was in June, I want to say. It was school night.
Oh,
That's cool.
We all know Grant very well.
Of course.
So Grant, it was a Sunday. It was the day before school night. It was Sunday, and he was like, "Hey, we had a band drop out. Can you hop on last minute?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it." And the next day, I played my first show as Zealand
at school night. That's
Wow,
wild.
that's awesome.
Yeah. It was.
What sort of speaking of friends, who was your first friend in LA, like in music? Do you remember who, or it might have been a group or something, but
Well, You know the band Nightlights?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we knew them from Boston, and when they moved out here, it was just really cool to like have them here, and their drummer is my drummer, and so become
right.
really good friends with them over the years, and then also Violet.
Of course.
Yeah. We connected over Twitter. And we have like very similar stories of being on a show and hating the experience and changing our
What
name
show
to
is she
something.
on again?
Well, she probably would hate it if I
know,
say this on here. But it was the was it The Voice or something? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember that. I think the first time we hung out, she was talking about it. I didn't know. Like, it was...
Yeah. So we, like, completely bonded, like, clicked over that and related to each other. And I don't know, when did you guys... Well, I know you guys weren't in LA.
The reason I ask is you were our first friends out here.
From LA.
From
Yeah.
LA,
Yeah.
Like, we...
But you guys were still in Boston. That's why I
Yeah.
don't consider you, like, the LA friends.
Well,
that
and
I
what's funny is that, like, when... Because what I sort of love about the story is that this is where we started the story. Mm-hmm. Is that, like, because we just got, like, you DM'd us about the show in Boston, but we only knew Zealand, and we did our due diligence and looked up. We didn't catch a name, we didn't catch anything. We just looked up Zealand, liked the music, wanted to play the show. And Sarah, Kendall's a friend, and it was it just seemed like it'd be a really fun night. And then I think Noah looked it up before the show. I didn't, but then when there were people who were coming who were like drawing. Like, I remember somebody drew a picture.
Yeah, there was some like mega fans there.
And I remember just being like, this is awesome. They're awesome, but
also like kind of weird. Like,
you guys were new at this point. Like, your record had just come out. So something. Either that record like had this crazy cult following, there was something else. So I wound up like looking it up and then seeing the Angie Miller stuff and everything, and sort of in a reverse way. Right?
Well, I mean, that's good to hear, though, because we're obviously not wanting to be associated with American Idol anymore.
Was that
so it's good to know that you didn't discover that at first.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, we knew you as Zealand and then learned backwards. But, was it hard making the transition? Like, was there, like, pushback from fans or...
Oh, yeah. I mean, for sure. There still is. I just looked on, I just released a song called Faster Now, and I was laughing literally this morning about a guy who left a review saying, this doesn't sound like Angie. I want Angie back. And gave it a 1 star. And I seriously want to post online, like, go away. If you don't like my stuff, go away. Stop. I want to say that. It sounds
you're
really
saying
harsh.
It now. No, but
and they'll hear it.
Good.
Yeah, but like I really love and appreciate you for listening to my music and giving it a chance. But like, if you don't like it, just go away. Like, I don't want you here anymore. But yeah, still to this day, all the time, I get DMs that are like, oh, I just found your music. Like, I follow you from way back in the day, and that stuff is cool.
Yeah.
That they're still
But
realizing.
they're growing with you.
Yeah. But yeah, so for me, it was the easiest transition ever. But for a lot of other people, it still kind of is like, well, why did you do that?
I think it's just an interesting and sort of complicated place to, like, to a degree, continue something and also start something. So it's I don't know, but fuck that pushback. I mean, that's like,
but
you're doing your thing. Like,
if you think about it, Angie Miller, like my name, the music I started with, the branding, the marketing, the songs, the quality, none of it was done by me. Yeah. It was all done for me.
Right.
And so it's just weird that the music I released under my name was so not me. And then all the Zealand stuff is 100% my branding, marketing, sound, my everything. Like, it's all thought up by me.
And the irony is that at the American Idol is about a voice. It's about an incredible voice, and it's not like your voice has. I mean, obviously, everybody's voices grow and change, but your voice is still your voice from start to finish. And so the fact that, like, it's like, okay, if you've got a problem with something, what is it? Is it the songs? Is it the brand? Well, that's not the thing that you signed up for.
Yeah.
Like, you signed up for somebody's voice and somebody's, like, energy and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember hearing Faster Now when you played it at the Bootleg. Which, by the way, the Bootleg show,
great show,
insane.
Thanks.
Obviously, maybe some people who are listening were at the show, but there were more, like, memorable, like, moment by moment things that happened in that show than almost, like, any show I've seen in a while. There was one point I remember where somebody in the audience started singing, and at first I'm like, I had no idea what was happening. Like, I didn't quite like.
Yeah, it seemed like
everybody
this
went
crazy-
like, you went quiet for a second. Everybody went quiet for a second, and then somebody in the back of the room started singing, and then somebody started harmonizing with that person, and then you went into the audience, and the three of you, was it Summer Day?
Yeah, it was the song Summer Day. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were all singing like,
Yeah.
and you could hear a pin drop. I mean, you guys
Yeah.
were all off mic,
Aw.
like just that was incredible. Obviously the lights and the motion on the new songs, like Enjoy Your
Thank you.
Holiday and Airline Wine. But I remember when you played Faster Now with a violinist, right?
Yep, Jessie Hansen.
Oh my God!
She's
Wait, that
amazing.
was Jessie?
That was Jessie.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
was a little bad snatch.
Yeah, Little Bad Snatch.
Yeah.
Shout out
She-
to her.
She just recorded strings on the acoustic version of
she's-
How We Know.
She's
so
incredible.
good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was Jessie.
Yeah,
That's
that was.
so cool.
I mean, she was on stage real quick and then hopped off. Maybe just.
Well, I didn't know
Yeah.
her then, and I know her now, so it was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I guess I
that was-
didn't put.
That was Jessie.
That was an incredible. I mean, I mean, you hit notes there, and it reflects what I'm excited about with the new single is that every like level of power and intensity and dynamic that I heard live was translated into the recording.
Oh well, thanks.
Which you don't
Thank
always
you.
get. Like that's not necessarily. Because I remember you could also. I mean, everybody was just captivated. You could hear a pin drop.
Well, that means a lot. I mean, like my favorite part of doing music is performing. I say that like all the time, but like it actually really is, and I think you can tell. I mean, I just
I think I believe
I
half of
feel
the people who
so-
say it. If people see you
Yeah.
live, there's not a moment you're not like on your game.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll go to a wedding and there'll be a dance floor and I am so embarrassed to get on that dance floor. Like I feel not confident, I feel weird and out of place. But if you put me on a stage in front of people like singing my music, for some reason I feel so confident. I love it. Like it brings me so much joy. So it's cool that translates into like a captivating show.
Yeah,
So
well, it was also so clear that you put a lot of time into
Yeah.
that show. You
Oh,
thought about it.
thanks.
You weren't just like, oh, we're just going to play
Yeah.
some songs. Like you guys thought about the
Yeah.
experience that people were going to have. And
well,
that
and
made it
your,
really
your,
good.
Yeah.
your band too. I mean, obviously, like DJ and everybody, like there's
they're so
this,
talented.
absolutely, but also like you guys have been doing it for a while, so you have this like this idea, like this feeling that everybody's just locked in, and there isn't like a hair out of place there, you know, and you don't
Totally.
you get the feeling like you sometimes do that they're phoning it in, like they're up there very much with you, and it's
I mean, and I think that, like you said, just doing it for so long with them makes a huge difference. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been doing music with DJ for 8 years, and then Travis and Doug, I've been doing music with them for like 3 or 4 years. And yeah, when you get to do music with your friends who you genuinely enjoy their company and they're stupid talented, it makes the world of a difference.
I think what was so cool about school night, and maybe like I can't, because I didn't see the first time you were there, but maybe like you can A and B it like comparatively.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool to see everybody like so locked in with you too, like and captivated. I mean, when like in Enjoy Your Holiday, when you go into the like, I know that I can make you unwind, like
Yeah.
and everything cuts out. Everybody was just like taken just a step forward in that like point. It was a very cool thing
Thanks.
to watch, and it's cool to see your friend just transform up on like a stage like that. You know, it's
Yeah.
three things immediately come to mind before. Do you have any rituals before you go on? What do you think about? Like, do you black out when you're up there, or are you really sort of in a moment? And then what's your favorite thing about performing?
Okay, ritual is I have to pee. I always have to pee before I go on stage.
that.
Like always.
You get a nervous stomach, right? You get the
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Like I when I get nervous, I like really, really have to pee, and it also I like chug water before a show, so that does that too. But yeah, have to do that. And when I'm on stage, I know it's a good show when I don't think about anything. I know it's a good show when I get completely lost in it. Because I've had shows where I'm singing and I look in the audience and I literally think, oh, you know, David's here. I haven't seen him in a week.
Right.
Oh, there's Sarah. Like, I hate it when I get distracted or when I'm in my head, like, oh, was I supposed to do that run there? Or was I supposed to do it here? I hate those shows when I'm like thinking about things. And it's crazy the things that you can think about while you're singing. It's so weird. But yeah, I know it's a good show and that I'm enjoying it when I just get lost and just like sing and don't think about a single thing. So, and then the best part
My
about
favorite part
performing?
about it, yeah.
My favorite part about shows, and it doesn't happen every show, my favorite part is when like the audience actually moves and you can tell they're into it, and like, or when they sing along with a song and you're just like, wow, like, yeah. So that's why the school night show in particular was really fun, because there was a lot of friends and fans there that like knew the songs and were singing, you guys included. Like it just was.
Yeah,
So,
I was
yeah, you
front
were-
row, like
yeah.
like singing and
Yeah.
everything. I genuinely couldn't help myself. Like I wasn't trying to do like the friend in the front row thing. I was like, I went up for a second to get like an Instagram, and then realized like, oh, I don't want to go back. I want to
Yeah.
be here and sing. I put my phone away and was like just dancing and singing the whole time. I think your manager saw me just like rocking out. Like it was
So good.
I almost
love
didn't
it.
want you guys to look at me because I was genuinely embarrassed by how much I was like moving
Well,
around. Like
I feel the same way about your guys' show, because I know like almost every word to your guys' songs, and I'm like, please don't look at me in the eyes, because then you'll see like how much I love you. And
we
yeah.
should do like cover records where we just
Great. Yeah. Good
That's,
idea.
it was an exciting show. I think I was gonna ask as a question. I almost want to say it as a statement, but you know, you obviously school night is not a stadium, but it feels like you get this energy, like this fulfilling energy from that more than that earlier experience. Like what was
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
what are the differences there? Like what how do you feel like interacting with those two things?
Well, that's the good thing about it. Took me a long time to like enjoy it, but I don't do a show for anyone else. I do a show for me, like truly. I've played shows in front of 10 people before, and I still have a blast, and I still give it my all. And I think that when an artist can learn to put on a killer show in front of 5 to 10 people, that's a good artist. Like if you don't let that bother you, because who knows, one of the 5 to 10 people could be someone that's gonna like
Right.
help you out so much in the future. But yeah, I think that when you're okay with like, yeah, putting on a badass show in front of 5 people, that no matter what show you're gonna do is just gonna be so enjoyable. It doesn't matter the size. And I learned that, definitely had to learn that like the hard way. I've played a good amount of shows in front of barely any people.
I think everybody who
Yeah.
does the slow burn has
Yeah.
had to. Did you
Yeah.
have? I don't want to start with the negative, but what was the favorite? Do you have a favorite show? Like, do you have one show that sticks out in your mind as like, you know, other than the Red Room 939?
Oh, yeah,
This is
that's
mine, you know?
That was a great show.
That was a good show.
That was our biggest show at the time. We had never done.
Yeah.
We'd never done a room that big, let alone like with people in it.
Yeah,
So
that really was awesome. It
was
was
a cool
that was
night.
one of the I think it was one of the first shows on my run on that tour I was doing. Maybe, I don't know, I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, we were freaking out. We're like, somebody's on tour and they want us. Like, that's cool. Like,
Aw.
we don't tour. We're in our dorm room. Like,
Well, I
yeah.
like secretly wish you guys were still in Boston, because there's no good electronic bands in Boston
Hey, we'll
that
fly
I know
out.
of.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Always go to Boston.
yeah.
Or if anybody's in Boston and listening,
yeah,
hit
please,
her up. Yeah.
please. It's
We haven't
so
been there in a while.
hard
We
to-
would rep you otherwise, but we don't know.
I'm sure there is someone, but they're really hard to find. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of digging, and it's like really hard to find. A favorite show? I mean, on like truly, it's cool that it's like come full circle. But the first school night show I did, like that energy of the first time playing music under the name Zealand, like it was like the most thrilling show. Like that. Yeah, it just felt so right. And then just 2 weeks ago playing school night again, like, I don't know, it just felt so cool. Like it's been 2.5 years still doing it, like, and owning it even more. And both of those shows were so amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to School Night. I think School Night in general was one of the first things I did out in Los Angeles, and it's a great way to meet people. And
It really is.
like for anybody
Oh my
who's
gosh.
moving to LA, go to School Night. Like
Yeah.
you'll find new music, but you'll also like and Madame Sam now on Tuesdays. But like
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
places where people are playing and
Both those nights, first of all, like how cool to have an absolutely killer night of free music
Yeah.
every Monday and Tuesday.
right.
I mean, that doesn't happen.
We're
anywhere
spoiled. I
else.
mean that like we
Yeah.
take it
really
for
are.
granted at this point.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's really cool. I mean, I know you guys experience the same thing as me, that once you start going very regularly, you go and you always see like a bunch of people, you know, like
Yeah.
always. There's always like a built-in crowd of like, oh, hi. Like it's just such a good way to,
You can go alone and then see people. Like you can, you know, you'll always have friends
Yeah.
in these like communities.
I
and
mean, the
stuff,
longer
but-
you're in LA, the smaller it gets. Like,
Yeah,
truly.
true.
It's been a long time since I've gone to a show and haven't known at least one person, even if it's like a random show.
Yeah.
There's a motion to LA, and this is like a really abstract thing to say, but it feels like there's more or less like a current that everybody winds up finding themselves in, like shows. You tend to find people going to the same shows because we're all more or less in the loop about what's
Totally.
happening.
Yeah. I think that's
Especially-
why people like
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Totally.
And there aren't that many venues, so if there's like a big night for like a big show, most people will be at maybe one or two things.
Yeah. To all my friends like back in Boston, I've gotten in conversations about LA and they're always like, well, I hated traffic. I'm like, first of all, Boston traffic sucks. Like, you don't even, yeah.
So we don't have
But-
snow on the road.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
at least we
exactly.
Yeah.
can traffic, whatever, but at least we can drive 365 days of the year, you know?
Right. But I've said to like quite a few people, if you move out to Boston and you're bored, it's your fault. I mean, if you move out to LA, if you move out to LA and
If you moved out to Boston and you're bored, it's Boston's fault.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
If you move out to LA,
and you're bored, it's
your
your
fault.
Your fault.
fault. Like
Yeah.
there's always something to do every night of the week. There's always someone you can meet, always someone you can go out and have a drink with or have coffee with. Like there's always something to do.
and I was talking to an Uber driver today, just driving on my way back home, that I've never felt it anywhere other than in LA, but we really all believe, to varying degrees of authenticity, sure, but believe that the tide rises every ship. Like I feel like there's a sense of here where it's like if a good thing happens to like a friend or if a good thing happens to a collaborator or whatever, like that, you know, will help everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that means like don't be jealous of your friends, don't try to be spiteful, don't be, you know, don't try to like fuck with anybody.
Yeah.
Just be there.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what's really cool about. I mean, obviously there are a lot of like dumb people in LA, but that's why I feel very thankful about the circle that we both are in, because there's so many encouraging, amazing people that aren't like competing with each other. They're competing
Yeah.
with themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
They're wanting
exactly.
to always grow and get better, but I'm like so genuinely happy for the people that are doing well. And
Well, everybody has each other's backs.
Yeah.
Too. And people have each other's backs, not just when things are going bad, but when things are going well. I think anybody who's had any level of experience, and hell, you're a great example too, is that good things are always going to be complicated.
yeah.
Like they're not always going to be like at face value, like here's a good thing that happened. It's
Right.
like, how did that happen and what's happening and, you know, all that stuff. And having friends who you can talk to about that
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
is huge.
I've recently started just inviting any girls I know in the industry, and we like just go on a hike and have
That's
like, a
awesome.
picnic.
That's great.
And yeah, the first one I did, there was only like 10 girls there. But it's like 10 girls who I all admire the heck out of and think they're so talented. And we all just like went for a hike. Got away from music, got away from writing sessions, got away from shows, and just like talked. Like
That's
actually
awesome.
getting to like take back all the
Well, be a
facade
person
and
in
yeah,
the whole thing.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I just love how supportive that people are here. If you put yourself in the right crowd, it's awesome.
Do they have music projects we can shout out and promote?
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, you guys will probably know a bunch of them, but Light
Amazing.
and Talker
Oh,
and other.
We were just at her show at
yeah,
she's
she just said her. Yeah.
absolutely incredible. Yeah.
And then some other girls who right now are doing a lot of background like vocal at
cool.
work, and one of the other girls is a manager down in Long Beach, and I know I'm forgetting someone. It was just awesome though, such a good group of people.
Well, and it's good to have like communities and stuff. Like I feel like you know, sometimes we'll like I play Smash Bros with some people, and when I came out here, I joined a D&D league, and it's all nerdy as hell, but the idea was like to find like a sort of more
Yeah.
human side to things that wasn't like, so what's your Instagram and your Spotify
Yeah.
and what songs are you writing and when are we doing a session? Like
Yeah.
I love when I can just hang with people when it's not like, I love writing, don't get me wrong, and we obviously love,
But yeah, that's the job.
Yeah,
You gotta do
you
something
know.
outside your job.
Yeah.
when you make your hobby a job, it gets really complicated, I think, and being able to talk to people about that.
Totally. Yeah.
So when did you put out Limbic System?
2016.
2016. What was that writing process like? What were you writing about in that record? Because that was the first record of like deliberation. Like that was the record. Where...
Yeah, I mean writing that record was interesting because I knew I was gonna rebrand and change my stage name, but I didn't know what yet. Like I had no idea about Zealand or the look or the sound or anything. I just knew that I wanted to record an EP my way, and I just reached out to my dream producer. I actually went to a show of his. He's in the band Copeland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I went to the show and like saw him at the merch table afterwards, and eventually through like Twitter DM of all places, just asked him like, "Hey, would you by any chance want to produce my next EP?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Why don't you come to Florida and spend a few weeks and let's write it and produce it?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I did. I spent 2 months in Florida and wrote and recorded all of Limbic System in those 2 months. And it was just like, I credit Aaron so much to Zealand, just like the start of everything and the branding and the sound. He's such an incredible producer, and I think it was a great starting point for Zealand.
When you had somebody who believed in the project too, just like
and he did a lot. He really did. He put his heart and soul into that EP, and I'm just so thankful that he did.
Do you guys still keep in touch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because Faster Now was originally supposed to be on the first EP, and but I pulled it last minute because I thought it was better than just being a song on an EP, and I wanted to release it like on its own. And so I've played it live for the past 2.5 years, and I recently, just like a month ago, texted him and was like, "Hey, Faster Now is finally releasing. Like, finally. I can't wait for people to hear it." And he just texts back and was like, "I lost all hope." Like, like it's been such a long time.
Well, it's funny. I swear I'm not like BSing, but what I almost consider like the first 2 singles and Faster Now in 2 different worlds, because Faster Now feels almost like a love letter and a sort of goodbye letter to the first record. Like it feels like it reminded me so much of it reminded me so much of the first record. But I also know haven't seen you live, and also that at least the first 2 singles indicate a sort of departure from what sonically I guess defined Limbic System. I mean, there's a lot more bass and a lot more sort of motion
a lot more movement. That's one thing I'm so proud of Limbic System, and I love it. But playing it live, I wanted more energy, like for sure. You guys know I love like showing energy and just exploding in a live set. You know what I mean? So I wanted more fun songs just to be able to move, and I think I'm in a happier place of life too. I wanted happier songs to lose a little bit of like the dark edge and
that's
just be happier.
Limbic System like it wasn't just like about personal. I mean, you were talking about the world. You were talking about like your feelings about the world.
I was like pretty frustrated with a lot of things too. I mean, I was frustrated over a lot of things, and it was a lot more edgy, and you can kind of just like tell. Like,
do you have a favorite song on Limbic System?
I really love Talk Listen was such an easy song to write, and Sleep on It. And my favorite one to play live is On a Hillside Looking Up.
Right. It's so good live. Yeah.
I think it's just beautiful. Such a beautifully like written song, and I don't know. I like a lot of them. I know which one I like the least. Always Starting Over. I have not played that song live in like 2 years. You wouldn't even recognize it if I played it for you guys. Probably. I don't know. Like So
we biasly very much like Talk Listen.
Yeah. I mean, truly though, the Sleep on It and Talk Listen remixes, both of those remixes, I know you guys obviously did Talk Listen. I played those versions live after you guys created them. So like, I really liked those remixed versions.
That was very exciting because we didn't know. But what was very exciting was that was actually the first time we'd ever heard anything that we had done for somebody else live.
Yeah, that's true.
Ever. When you sent me the video where you guys did it, we both very genuinely cried.
Yeah, it was a very cool feeling.
Was it because we hadn't written for produced?
It was cool for me too.
We never written and produced for anybody at that point, so that was the closest that we had sort of come to the experience of like seeing something we made for somebody else. Well,
I mean, likewise for me, just as an amazing experience because, like I said, I was craving more energy in my live sets, and you guys gave that to me through that remix. And like I was able to actually have a moment that was just so much energy and fun, and so I loved it when I finally got to play it live.
It's cool. And I think that goes back to what we were sort of saying about community, is that like it winds up being this more or less like feedback loop of like, you know, you're doing something, we're doing something, and then when the collaboration starts happening, it changes both of us. Like,
that was one of the first songs we ever remixed.
That was actually that was our first remix.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, we were learning how to do that, you know, while you were like getting
gosh,
through.
for it being your first time doing a remix, like that was amazing.
I remember when it came out too. I remember when we were working on it. I heard the first demo. I was on a mega bus going to New York when Noah sent me the whole idea to go to Triplet and everything, which
so good.
But I think around the same, because he sent me in the email, there were two things. There was the demo of the remix and a Sleeping Lion cover of Closer, which I think we asked what you wanted to do with
that
us.
Song had just come
out.
It
had just come out. And we were
so
so terrified that we were like, it's a big song, we want to be topical. And we asked you, and at the time I don't even think I understood why you said no, and now I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you said no. Like, I'm so glad that
Wait, do you remember why I said no?
I think you were just saying like, you know, I'm putting out. And again, we didn't get the context all makes sense now, but you didn't want to do covers. Like, you didn't want.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
yeah.
like now that makes total sense. At the time, we're like, oh, we need to do covers because people are listening to covers. For you, like, I did covers, guys.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You know, and you were very nice about it. You're like, we weren't like whatever, but we wound up not putting I think we performed it live once, but we had a Sleeping Lion cover of Closer.
Of Closer
my
with the
gosh,
Chainsmokers.
I remember that now. You guys asking, yeah.
We have big plans for that.
We had big plans for that. Was going to be our break. You know, that was
That's awesome. I love that.
But it's funny, yeah, because that was the first, and I remember when the remix actually did come out. We were playing a show at a bar in Boston, and there were $1 drafts, which I took full advantage of. And then like it came out, and so I had my laptop on like a hotspot, like between sets, like in the back room, like on the floor, half drunk, like writing all the promotions. And some of your fans like would reach out to us and like, people are talking about something we did. Like, that never happens. Like, we're just going back.
It's cool how both that remix and the one that John Santana did of Sleep on It, I'm pretty sure that both of those remixes have more streams than the actual versions of the songs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they never got on any playlists. They never, like, just gradually over the past 2 years, people are just drawn to them, and I think that's awesome. I love that. You guys crushed it.
Where did the name Limbic System come from?
Well, the limbic system is the part of your brain that regulates your emotions. So like when you get pissed off and you like feel your whole body heating up, your limbic system's like, whoa, chill out, like calm down. And I think that just like really summed up the place that limbic system was written in, just kind of frustrating, but needing to stay calm, and just like all the different emotions going on in my head during that season of life. And that's like, I found that first. Like, I knew that was going to be the name of the EP before I wrote any of the songs. I was like, whatever this music is going to sound like, it's going to be called Limbic System.
The art is also so cool. Who did the art?
The art was by Shailene Lewis. Shailene is her first name. And she's out of Nashville. And she does these like beautiful abstract art pieces. Yeah. And I was just like, can I please like use that?
It looks like seeing like inside your brain. Like, it looks like seeing like, how did you meet her? Like, how did you guys first like collaborate on that?
I met her at a Copeland show.
Oh, cool.
She was opening for Copeland.
Oh, wow.
She was
oh, she's an artist, like an artist, like, or
well, she was playing with, do you know Isley? She joined the band Isley on their tour, and so I think she was playing piano and doing background vocals. Cool. And yeah, I just met her and saw her page and was like, oh my gosh, what an amazing artist. And I was just like, can I use that for my artwork?
So is it always unfair when like somebody, like Halsey's also an incredible painter.
Yeah.
You know, like,
oh my gosh, like, I wish I had something else.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
like, man.
For me, I'm like, I barely got the music thing.
Yeah, barely trying to get the music thing together.
I know.
I think about painting.
I want to like put my hands on my hips and be like, I'm a writer, and that's all I have to worry about. I want to paint though. I keep watching Bob Ross and just being like, I want to make happy little trees, you know.
I wish I could paint. It's such a beautiful like gift to have. I don't have it though.
Is anybody else in your family? I mean, I know your mom and your dad, same, but was there anybody else who, if not music, did something else in the sort of creative world, whether or not professionally or just as a hobby?
Well, as far as extended family, no, not really. But my brother, I only have one sibling, my older brother. He plays like everything. His main instrument is drums, but he also is bass guitar. He can play some piano. He has a beautiful voice. Like, he just does everything. So growing up with a super musical brother always kind of pushed me to want to be more, just better at my art. And so, yeah, that was cool.
No, back to actually, I'm not 100% sure it is Limbic System, but there was every I think with everybody on the show, I want to ask about, because we're songwriters. I want to know about the lyric that you love the most from one of your songs, and you sent me a lyric. But what is the lyric, and what song is it from?
So it's the song that I just released, Faster Now. Yeah, I mean, it's not just my favorite lyric because it's the song that just released. Remember, this song was.
So this is not a segue. This is a 2-year-old song. Yeah,
this more
3
than
years.
that. It's like maybe 3.5-year-old song.
What's the lyric?
So the lyric is, when the promise of the morning lets me down, when the fog rolls in, I'm cold and all alone.
When the promise of the morning lets me down, when the fog rolls in, I'm cold and all alone.
Why does that resonate so much with you?
Well, I think just constantly being let down by people. I mean, when the promise of the morning lets you down and left alone. I mean, I've had a fair share of that. And not just like industry people, but that's happened a lot of times. But just like people in general. I feel like it took a long time to find the friends that I have now, and the friends that like I can actually trust, because there's a lot of friends who just either stop caring when you have nothing cool going on, or I don't know. There's just so much of that. So that's like the down part of the lyric, and it continues on to saying, it's better now I think of how your calm would cover over. Take my hand and lead me safely back to home. So I think it's a lyric that is being okay with being let down and finding hope in it.
It's recognizing both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's okay to have a crappy day. It's okay to be mad. It's okay. Like, I think people try to pretend like they aren't upset or frustrated and like, oh, I have it all put together. But like, no, it's okay. We can all be frustrated and let down and full of doubt. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But to hold on to hope and to see a brighter future.
When you sing it live, does it those lines hit you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Every time because like when the promise of the morning lets you down, everyone can relate to that.
Yeah.
It's like we all have looked forward to something and it doesn't go through, or like, yeah.
I think disappointment is one of the worst feelings.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just something bad's happening. It's that you were so looking forward to something.
And as artists, as musicians, we feel that more than most people. Like, I really think
because we have to. I mean, part of our job is that we need to envision something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So often,
And we have to get excited about it.
Yeah.
You can't not get excited about it. So when something goes wrong, you're like, well,
Yeah.
I feel bad about getting excited about that thing. But you had
used
to have.
Noah and I used to get into arguments back in Boston because he'd be like, I'd be like, oh, this really good thing is gonna happen. Like it was, you know, somebody took an interest, or I got an email, and Noah would never. I would be so excited because I had to be, and Noah would be like, you know,
It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Like, he'll be like,
Realistically, it's not going to turn out how we want it.
For a while, I like dropped it, but at one point, like something had happened, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to get my hopes up, and I sat him down. I'm like, Noah, God damn it! Like, I need you to get as excited about this shit as I am, because like I know it's not promised. Like, I know nothing is set in stone, but if we're not excited about it, it's definitely not going to happen.
Right.
Or we're just gonna be too sad and depressed by the time it does.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Right.
But to do that, you have to learn to just
Yeah.
get excited and then be okay when things don't work out, and be
Totally.
okay that you got excited about it. Because I
Yeah.
feel like that's where you fall into a trap. 'Cause
Absolutely.
you're like, oh, I shouldn't have gotten
Yeah.
excited about that thing. Like, it didn't work out. It's like, no, it's fine. Everything is fine. Like,
Yeah.
To quote
plenty of
Bob
stuff
Ross,
doesn't work out.
To quote Bob Ross, make big decisions and let them go.
Exactly.
Yeah, like totally though. I agree, and I think that is what, even though it may not seem like I'm saying that, but I think that's what that lyric is saying. Exactly what you're saying, wanting to get excited but being okay when you're let down. Like, it's okay.
Well, what I like about the second half, and I only had the first half on the index card. What I like about the second half and where it goes is that it also, shows that there's always safety. Like, I think that if there's ever something that I think I said it like around my birthday too. Like, I know that if everything were to go to hell, like if everything were to just hit the fan, there's still people who would just make everything okay, even if it's for a second. Like, there are always going to be sanctuaries and pockets of safety.
Yeah. And I think that is what if there's an artist listening right now who is wondering like what's really important to have like in the industry, it's a group of friends that do not care if you're if you make it or not.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if something tragic were to happen and I lost my voice and had to completely give up music, that I would have a group of friends that do not care and would like love me even more. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and that's in a lot of ways that's power. I mean, that means that like you don't necessarily have anything to lose because you can't lose anything. It's like
right.
It's not the idea that like you're relying on anybody or whatever. It's that you can swing for the fences because like, even if you miss, there will still be people there. I think that that's a kind of power. I think that's like a really cool thing. And I think it's good that you said, I think if anybody's wondering what do you do and all this music stuff, it's find that first.
Have people you trust who have your back, like no matter what. It'll get you further than anything else.
And people can be honest
and,
too, like if they don't like something about your music or like
oh, for sure,
anything, to not just have like the echo chamber of stuff.
Right.
We were talking about MySpace earlier. I looked up some old MySpace like form questions. Do you wanna do a little lightning round of stuff? I have zero idea what is gonna be.
Oh my
these.
gosh!
I'll skip like the terrible ones, like like what class did you cheat on a test with or whatever, like.
Well, that'd be Spanish.
Well, there you go.
I dropped out of French, so je parle un petit peu, but it's loading up the questions. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, if these are terrible, I blame this
blame
website.
MySpace.
MySpace.
All right, here goes.
All right.
I'm just gonna go until this just gets hilarious. Do you like blue cheese?
No.
Huh.
Have you ever smoked a cigarette?
No.
Let's see. Do you get nervous before doctor's appointments?
Yes, I hate getting my blood drawn. Ugh.
What do you prefer to drink in the morning?
Coffee.
Can you do push-ups?
Yeah.
Do you do push-ups?
I am a gym rat, guys.
Really?
I love the gym. Yeah.
Really?
I can do some push-ups.
I'm saying really surprised, but like you rock Adidas like most of the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. When I'm home, I'm usually just in leggings and some crappy shirt. Yeah.
Other than guacamole, what's your favorite meal?
Oh, I just love anything that involves chicken. I love chicken.
Like fried chicken or like grilled chicken?
I
anything.
love grilled chicken. I love a bunch. I'm a big fan of Mexican food too, which I love guacamole. Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of jewelry?
Rings? You mean like a type of jewelry?
Or like a specific like piece?
This guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My engagement ring.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
Shout out to DJ.
Yeah.
Favorite non-musical hobby?
Non-musical hobby? I love hiking. I'm a big fan of hiking.
Name something that you like about yourself.
I like my voice. I think I have a beautiful voice.
Name something that you don't like about yourself.
Wait. I wish that hair didn't grow on bodies. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate shaving.
Just having to deal with it.
Yes, I hate it. I wish it was never a thing that girls like should shave. I know that there's like the whole movement, but like I can't do that. I have to shave. But I wish that I could just be hairless. That sounds so gross. All right.
This is,
I know what
she,
you
she
mean.
in front of us, she immediately goes bald, just like this. Yeah.
No, not
Be careful
my-
what you wish for. I
Yeah.
feel like about fingernails because I don't bite my nails, so I have to
I
actually
very much bite my
take
nails,
care of my
yeah.
nails, and it's like,
Yeah.
why is this growing? Why is this happening?
Yeah,
I-
can't you just stop?
I hate like odor and grime. Like I hate that like my
Yes.
body just progressively and naturally gets like grosser over time if I
seems
don't do
unfair.
anything about it. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, also, and I will never do the thing where I get like lip fillers or anything. But like I have no top lip really. Like when I smile, it disappears, and I kind of wish that I had a little bit more of a top.
hey, listen, at least your teeth are straight. Like
Yeah.
mine
Yeah,
are like
that's true.
look like
Arguably
I'm
more
from
important.
London. Like
Yeah.
because I like was told to wear a retainer and then I didn't. I grind my teeth in my sleep,
Yeah.
so like in a week it was just gone.
Oh,
you know?
I've worn my retainer ever since I got my braces off. I
Still?
still do
Oh my
every
God.
night.
No, that's probably the way to
That is-
do it.
Because when you have big teeth, your teeth will shift so quickly.
I leaned into it. I just now I'll be the face for.
I didn't wear my retainer for one day, and my teeth, like, it was one tooth that just went. Foop. I'm just like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. That's never gonna be
no.
straight. It doesn't want to be, and I'm not gonna make it.
So much money spent on our teeth just wasted.
Yeah, my mom will probably listen to this and be like, because I said I grind my teeth in my sleep. She bought a $500 mouth guard.
Oh, come
with the
on, you
molding and
suck.
everything, and I worn it 3 times.
terrible.
I'm a bit of a germaphobe, and so it's like, oh, I gotta clean it every day, and I'm already worrying
They
about
are
my own
really
grime,
gross.
and
Yeah.
it smells bad. Whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Name 3 thoughts that you have at this moment.
Whoa.
I really think this purple curtain reminds me of Barney. I like it. I wish I had this couch in my apartment because we only have one couch and I want more seating. And I wish I had this view. You guys have an awesome view from
Thanks.
your studio. It is gorgeous. Okay.
I'm really happy that you like the curtain, the couch, and the
Yeah.
view. We are recently domesticated, so this is I'm glad
it's good touches. Yeah.
Name 3 things you bought yesterday.
What?
That's crazy.
How do you know it?
I bought a pound of coffee.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't have any groceries at home. I got Mendocino Farms. That's one of my go-to sandwiches is at Mendocino Farms. And I don't know if I bought anything else yesterday.
It's a very specific
We got
question.
2.
I
Oh,
like
and then what
it.
was one thing you bought today? Then fill in the third.
I don't think I bought anything today.
She's been capitalistically zero.
Zero.
Today.
I
That's
did
no
I'm
capitalism today.
starting my taxes today though.
Oh, fun!
which
That's always
sucks.
good. Yeah,
That's-
I feel like that's something that music people do not talk enough about. Like we should all sort of
There should be like a group.
yeah.
There should.
Or just like whenever you meet up with anybody in music, like we just ceremoniously the first 5 minutes like talk about like music, and then we write that meal off. Just
Yes. That's so true though.
That is
every
true.
like
the IRS are listening now, and they're like, oh, now we know.
yeah, that like every dinner date where we mention music,
That's a work meeting.
That's a
write-off.
work
yeah,
meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, what are you listening to now? Cool, we did the music talk.
All
Yeah.
right, and check.
Or you just try to talk to a stranger at whatever restaurant you're at to network.
Yeah.
That's
Totally. Come on.
because as long as you don't yell at them in a restaurant, that's what my dad taught
Yep.
me.
Yep.
Current worry right now.
Oh, that people won't like my new EP. I don't know. Yeah.
Favorite place to be.
Los Angeles, my home. Yeah.
How did you bring in the New Year's?
With the closest friends and had such a good night. It was awesome.
Do you have any reoccurring dreams?
No, reoccurring ones? No.
I do. It's crazy.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a reoccurring dream.
I'm asking this question only because I know Noah hates this question. Introvert or extrovert?
I don't hate the question. I hate
The answer
I'm not
where
gonna
somebody
get into
said.
it.
Yeah. Well, to me, the answer is which one fuels you?
Yeah.
Like which one like do you thrive off of? And I thrive off of introvert. Like I need my time to myself to like just start like fresh. You know what I mean? Like
Noah's qualms when people are saying that when people say that they're like both an introvert and
they're
an extrovert.
or an introverted extrovert
Yeah.
or something like that.
I
or-
just think it's like, I mean, I get it. I think I understand why people say it. I just think
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
the whole, because it's part of the Myers-Briggs thing. It's a spectrum. Like everyone has humans are social animals. We need people. No one doesn't like being around people.
Right.
But some people get better, more energy from being alone. But I think everyone's kind of on a spectrum. It's not like this binary system where it's like you can't be with people. I feel like people oversimplify it.
Totally, because I could say like, oh, I'm pretty extroverted, but I'm an introvert. But like, no. When it comes down to it, I get energy from being alone and just like having a moment to myself.
I think for me, I was talking to you about it last time we sort of got into the talk, was that it's like what is your version of hell? Like like is it an island or is it a room full of people you don't know?
That's a good way to put it.
So like if you had to spend eternity somewhere, what would be the worst version? And so for me, the worst version would be the island, but for Noah, the worst version would be the room full of people.
Wow,
and that's how I can tell the difference between an introvert and an extrovert, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what would be hell for you?
Well, see, now I'm going back and forth because neither of them sound like hell.
What if there's like really good food on the island, like chicken?
For sure, the island.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Can you whistle and or snap?
Both.
You got to prove the snap.
What do I sing? Well, this is the snap, right?
Okay, actually, snap and whistle. Maybe a song from the record. Oh, the unwind part from Enjoy Your Holiday.
So,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
We have the exclusive whistle snap
Yeah.
cover, or not a cover, but version of
Yeah.
Enjoy Your Holiday.
There you go.
Favorite color?
Blue? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite color.
Would you be a pirate?
Would you be a pirate? Is that one of the questions? That's great.
No, I would not
you
be a pirate.
I think I'd be a pirate. I think I'd have a lot of fun being a pirate.
Do you like breaking the law, though?
Stuck on a boat.
You don't seem like the law breaking.
No, but pirates broke the law for like against like the rich.
Yeah, I guess they had
against,
like a code.
Yeah, they had a code.
I'd like to find treasure, but I would not want to be a pirate.
Sailing seems like a lot, though. I guess, you've done that before.
I love sailing, yeah.
I don't think I like sailing.
I think my least favorite part about sailing was how small the boat was, which is a very upper middle class qualm to have.
If I'm on a boat, I want to relax and not have to do anything. So
that's why you got a crew. That's why you got to be.
That's true. I
then
could
you
be
have to worry
the head
about
of
scurvy. Like I don't think I'd want to deal with being a pirate.
Other than me, who's your loudest friend?
John Liverns. He'll hear this and he'll get a kick out of it.
Worst injury you've ever had?
It wasn't an injury, but parasites attacked my gallbladder when I was 6 and I had to get it removed. Yeah.
You're gallbladderless.
My gallbladder. I'm gallbladderless. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, can you throw bile? I can't get into anatomy now. I don't.
There are like certain heavy fats that it's harder to like process.
Gotcha.
So maybe by the time I'm like 40, I'll have to like cut out a lot of fatty foods. Yeah.
What's your worst habit?
I used to bite my nails. I don't do that anymore, thankfully.
No, I still do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a tense person, so I always need to remind myself like, okay, calm. Put down your shoulders.
What is your favorite book?
I love autobiographies. And so I'm also, something that people don't know about me is I'm a big fan of gymnastics. So I just recently read Aly Raisman and Simone Biles' autobiographies and loved them. So yeah.
I learned like 2 new things in like 5 seconds. So these questions are,
those are cool.
Last 2. What were you doing at midnight last night? And what was the first thing you thought of when you woke up this morning?
Midnight last night, I was this is so sad. I was starting the spreadsheet to my tax information. That's so sad.
That's a very like adult and honest answer. Like,
that's so annoying. And the first thing I thought about when I woke up, I think the first thing that I always think about is breakfast. Some people wait like hours till they eat. I eat right when I wake up. So I probably thought about, what am I going to eat this morning?
we got into an argument once with a fan on Twitter about the definition of breakfast. I think, and maybe it comes from like Yom Kippur and whatever, that like it's the breaking of the fast. It's the first meal. But she says after noon, it's no longer breakfast.
Interesting.
What did you have for breakfast? That's my 51st question. That's my last.
Okay. Yeah. I had 2 fried eggs on toast.
Nice.
That's good. What did you have for breakfast?
This guacamole.
Oh my gosh, are you starving?
I'm all right.
Oh my gosh.
Noah's one of those people that does forget.
I forget to eat
Breakfast.
most days.
Oh, I never forget. Like I love food.
I had coffee
so
for
much.
breakfast.
That's
That gets the job
That's
done.
not.
That's breakfast.
Doesn't count.
It gets the job done.
Nah.
Starts in the morning.
I had a breakfast burrito and a Cliff Bar.
Breakfast burrito from where?
I think it's called Cafe Etc. on the corner of Cahuenga and Selma. That was a very
Nice.
specific answer.
Yeah,
I
I like
had to
that.
wait for the Uber after, so I
Yeah.
had it all locked in.
You should go to Stamp. Has
Stamp.
a good breakfast burrito at Stamp.
Shout out to Street Level Cafe in Echo Park. Not a lot of people know it, but it's like so many choices of food for breakfast and lunch.
Can
and
we
like,
go there sometime?
oh, 100%.
Great
do it.
spot.
Yeah, I love that
Cool.
place.
My go-to breakfast spot that I bring like family and friends when they visit is Home Restaurant in Los Feliz.
I've never been there.
Never been?
All right, so you take us there. We'll take you to Street
Okay,
Level. Yeah,
sounds good.
I'm a new kombucha drinker. That's the.
How are you liking that one?
I'm enjoying it. I'm trying not to like look in it. That's. People said that when I like moved to Los Angeles, I would like get the man bun and the kombucha and the vegan and everything.
It's all happening, right?
It's all
and
happening.
it's
Yeah.
all sort of
Slowly
slowly
but
happening.
surely.
I'm very upset about it.
No, it's great. I love it.
But
Oh, man.
I don't know. I like made the mistake of one time saying like, "Oh, that's such a Gemini thing of you to say," and I'm like, "Oh no,
Yep.
oh God, I need to get out of here."
Yeah, it does it to you. It like puts it in your head. Like I never thought about any of
Never
that
thought
stuff.
about
and I'm
any
like,
of it.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I feel like we have like a bit. I mean, no matter how much we try to fight it, there is a bit of East Coast elitism. And we're just a bit
For sure.
smarter, like that's
Totally,
just
yeah.
so much because we had winter, and so we had to like gang together and read books over a fire while the world was ending. Like,
Everyone here is just at
Totally.
the beach every day.
every
Yep.
day.
It is true though. people don't realize the like seasonal depression or seasonal like
Yeah. What I didn't realize is that seasonal depression has nothing to do with actual weather. Like, I think it had, like, I still get it out here. Like,
oh,
I
that's
still,
weird.
Yeah, when the sun goes down earlier, I'm like, oh, I guess
See, to
we're
me, it's
here.
like the feeling of being stuck and like you have to stay inside. Like that, like in winter,
Oh, yeah.
when like Boston winters, I just felt like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't like just get together easily with friends.
I would
And
like
me,
walk to
it's-
clear my head or bike to clear my head and not
did
being
that
able
in
to
the
do
snow?
that. No, but not being able to do that in the snow would get to
Right.
me.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
Whereas now you can bike or walk every day.
Right.
So you mentioned that there's an EP coming.
There is an EP coming.
What is it called? What is it about?
Yeah,
when-
it's coming in May, and it's called A Weekend in Maine. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like I said earlier. This EP has a lot more energy and joy, and I think this EP it's nostalgic, but in a happy way. It's like I miss the simplicity of home, and I miss it. But I learned so much when I was younger, and I'm applying it to where I am now. Like A Weekend in Maine, that's where my family would take vacations, and we would go up there. And I feel like on those trips with my family, I learned so much about myself. I learned what it's like. I learned how to love like family and nature and being disconnected. And and I just had a lot of life lessons then that I still carry now. And so it kind of is a happy nostalgia.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, is we when we wrote, is that song gonna be on the
Yeah. So it was like your guys' first writing session, right?
Yeah, when you guys
Yeah,
came to
yeah.
Boston.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you came to was it for? Were you playing a show in Boston or
Yeah. I think it was a show. That I
were
was
you just
playing in
there for
Boston.
family?
Honestly, I
know.
don't remember.
I remember what I do remember is we did a live stream very briefly.
Oh yeah.
And then it was also like 10 at night. It was like pretty late,
Yep.
and you guys had somewhere to be very early.
Yeah.
So you had a sort of beat, like sort of sitting around, and we started messing around with melodies. But I'd never written them before, so I was trying to come up with stuff, and I think all we managed to talk about was this place in Maine, and like coming up with
Yeah.
like certain ideas. But I don't think any words necessarily made it.
No. we just like had a melody and like the track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was that the that's the pre-melody now, right? That was back into the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you guys came by. Well, you were in Boston. We were in by the house we were at in LAX.
Yep. Yeah.
and wrote. Was that the day? That was the day there was the possum.
Yep, there was a possum in the house.
There's a possum in the house?
Someone came. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
In our old house?
In our old, so we pretty much wrote all of the song, and then went to get like a burrito down the street. And while I remember like 7 people calling me during that lunch for different reasons, but one of them was the woman who owned the house was like, "There's a possum in the house."
Yep.
And we come back and there's like I don't even
A
know.
dude, yeah, one of the guys that
Like an
Animal control. That's the word.
Yeah.
Holding a possum by the tail.
Yeah. It was
What you got here
gross.
is a possum?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like truly though.
Like, cool.
Right in the kitchen and like brought it outside to the other side of the street and like let it go.
But that had to. So, in a sense, the song took a year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2 days over a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we were writing, it was the plan. Because I mean, it was just something that we had talked about a year ago, and I brought it up while we were in the session. But had you already been in the mind space that you wanted to write about Maine, like when we were?
No, not at all. When we were going into that session a second time around to like actually write the lyrics, I forgot about that whole concept. I forgot about talking about that weekends in Maine and the simplicity and like the nostalgia and all that. I totally forgot about it all. And we wrote that song, and like while we were writing it, it was like really fun and awesome, but I didn't realize how much I loved it until afterwards. Like we finished writing it and I was like, oh great, this is cool, awesome. Went home a week later, listened to it again, and I was like, wait, wow, this is like really beautiful. What the heck? And just like started falling in love with it more and more, and started recording other songs for the EP. I like remember when it hit me and I was like, wait. This is the title track, and the whole EP is going to be called A Weekend in Maine. Like, yeah. Okay, done. Like,
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coming out in May, and these
EP
are the
comes out in
singles that are leading up to.
yeah, so all the music that I'm releasing now is leading up to the EP. It's going to be 6 songs.
Oh.
And and then shortly after it releases in May, we start tour, which
Wow.
will be just like a bunch of places over the US and
Boston.
Boston for sure. Well,
Hey, Boston artists,
I'm
DM
actually,
now. Yeah.
it's actually going to be in Beverly, my hometown.
Oh,
There's
nice.
a theater up there that I've played before, and so we're going to do it up there. So yeah, any electronic or whatever, pop, whatever, artists in Boston, reach out.
Are you gonna go back to Maine as some sort of ceremonial thing for the record?
Yeah, I would love to. I don't know if I'll be able to get to that like same cabin. I think someone else opens it now. But yeah, there was like a specific cabin and place that I would always go to. But I love Portland, Maine. I want to go back up there and hang out. And have you ever been to Portland, Maine?
I don't think I've
Obviously,
ever been.
there's like barely anything in Maine.
Yeah.
It's like empty. But Portland, Maine is like a one strip that just like is really cool and has good coffee, good food.
Yeah, no, that's well. So I'm really excited. I mean, I'm excited that you're touring, so everybody in the country gets to watch you perform. I'm excited that these songs are coming out, and biasly excited that these songs are coming out, but also as a friend and a fan, excited for these songs to come out.
Thank you.
So,
I can't wait.
And I'm really grateful that you are our first guest on Talking Lion.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Sleeping Lion, on Talking Lion.
Hey,
Yay.
You guys have been listening to the first ever episode of Talking Lion with Zealand. Check out all of her music. Buy merch and actually I own one of the shirts, and it's one of my most comfortable shirts.
Yay.
So this is a very real advertisement. And yeah, buy tickets for the tour, because I'm telling you, like, this is a show you do not want to miss.
Thanks.
So, thanks,
And
Zealand.
then go listen to Sleeping Lions.
Oh, you'll get around to it.
Well, if you're listening to my music, you will get around to it because.
Oh, because of the remix and
Yeah. Oh man, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Fast and low we tumble through the waves. Remember how we stood to face the day. Further out, but pull me deeper to the peaceful waters now. I will keep you, I will hold you in the way.
We would like to thank Jägermeister, Outlaw Energy, and Isotope for their early support of Talking Lion.